Okay, this is the third video for NetworkX. So let me close out that second tab. Okay, so we're going to be using this third starter, reading graphs. Okay. So we're going to read a file. We're going to read a graph from an input file. So if I navigate in here to districting data, there's a file called ok.graph. This is just a text file, but file extension is .graph. If I click on it, I'll see it's actually just a list of edges. So each row here says we have two counties, let's say county number 43 and county number 57. They touch each other. They're adjacent on the map. So that's all that this file is storing, just pairs of counties that are adjacent. Okay, so NetworkX has a function that I can use to read this into this NetworkX object. Okay. So I guess first I need to make sure that I'm pointing to the right file path. And so I guess this is where this file is currently stored. So I think there's a good way to grab this file path. Okay, so in the folder where I downloaded the zip file to and then unzipped it, here's my file path. And it's actually in the data folder, so I'll click on that. So I'll click this, copy that. I think that should work. Put that here. I think there's one thing I need to do. So I think I need to be careful. So first, I need to make that a string. And then also, for whatever reason, it wants me to have a double slash instead of just a single backslash. So every time I have one of them, I'm just going to add another one. I think I should also have two at the end. Okay, so that's my file path. The file name looks good, I think. Okay. So now I can read this graph from the text file into a NetworkX graph. So I'll call that graph G. I'll do NetworkX dot read edge list. So in here, I'll put where that file is stored. So it's stored in that file path. And then I'll add to that string, I'll add the file's name. So this whole thing together will refer to that file. And I need to do one other thing. I need to specify that the node type is integer, so that whenever NetworkX is reading that file, you know, if I had county number 43, it's going to read that 43 as an integer. Okay. So I think that does it. And then after we read it in, we'll just double check that it read in properly. So the Oklahoma county graph, the node for each county, has this many nodes. Number of nodes. And this many edges. Okay, so if you know Oklahoma, you should know there should be 77 counties in total. It doesn't like this because I'm referring to NetworkX, but I haven't yet imported NetworkX. So let me run that first one first. So now it works. We read in those 77 counties in Oklahoma, and it turns out that there are 195 pairs of them that are adjacent. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could print some more information. The Oklahoma graph has nodes, nodes. So this should be, 77 of them. They're numbered, and they're numbered 0 to 77. For whatever reason, I guess just because of the order that the edges were listed in that file, it didn't read these in consecutively. But that's okay. Okay. I could also print the edges. Now I suspect this one will be in the order in which we listed the edges in that text file. Let's see there. I guess this is kind of the order it started off with. So the first edge should be 023 and then 030 and so on. I think. Let's check. Okay, yeah, 023, 030, and so on. So here's the 195 adjacent pairs of counties. Okay. We can also draw these graphs. Of course, there are lots of ways to draw a given graph. So we'll just ask NetworkX to draw it one particular way. So I could just say NetworkX.draw and then G. And then it'll take a little bit of time. It'll draw something. And you'll see here that it's not in the kind of the shape you would expect. I mean, it doesn't follow the arrangement of Oklahoma's counties, but maybe if I run it again, it'll give me a different drawing. Well, maybe none of these are going to be good. I don't know. So later on, I'll show you it's a little closer. There's a way to do this to where you could pick the position of the nodes. So some of the other data sets that we'll work with, we have the latitude and longitude for each of the counties. And so there we can essentially tell NetworkX to use those lat-long coordinates to position the nodes. Okay, so that would work. We may also be interested to know what are the node numbers, or maybe if we actually had the county names stored, we might want to print the county names. But this particular input file, we just have numbers. So, but I can print what is the number of each of these nodes. One of these it'll draw and it'll be pretty. Kind of looks like an elephant with a tusk. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay.